All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Drink About It. We are here getting to know industry professionals, sipping on some spirits, and having some laughs. Today, we are joined by George Booth. George has been called the Fixer for his ability to pull out resources left and right. This Aussie-born man has a love for beer, spirits, fried chicken, and of course, his dog, Hubert. George has lived all over, from Australia to New Zealand to Indonesia, and of course now, Copenhagen. Known for his stories and making people smile. Welcome to the show, George.
Thanks for having me, Logan. Beautiful introduction. That's yeah. Cheers.
I mean, that was some of the main stuff I heard from your friends was that like you're always the dude who knows a guy. Like no matter what happens, you're like, oh, I know a guy, and then you call, and like 20 minutes later, something's fixed.
Yeah, mate. That's I've become to think of myself not as a hospitality worker, but as a networker. And you've got to find there's always someone that someone knows that can help fix the problem.
That's definitely true, actually. Yeah. Especially here, I feel like since it's such a small or a smaller group, it's so easy like to reach out. Like I remember talking to Andy without even ever meeting him, and the first thing I messaged him was like, hey, can I ask you about rum? And then he just, boom, big thing about rum.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only time my phone rings when someone needs something from me. So it's good to have, good to be needed.
Absolutely. But man, before we really kick it into gear, just go over quick ground rules real quick. So we start off, of course, with the beer. And you being an Aussie man, we will just go for it, down it in one go.
Down it.
And then it goes straight to the shots. Shot question, 6 shots, 6 questions. All shots are different. All questions are pretty different. And we finish up with a game. Sound good?
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Proudly sponsored by the Barking Dog Pilsner. I have never tasted this before in my life. Hopefully it's good.
Fingers crossed.
Cheers.
Oh, you did that fast.
I was thinking if I should put the straw in there, just down it like an old school shotgun. But some of the viewers at home might be a little bit too young.
Yeah, it's maybe a bit too harsh for this crowd. All right. Wow. Should we get down to the first shot?
We should get down to the first shot. I am ill prepared, so I'm going straight from the source.
Okay. That's fine. I'm kind of spoiled because I'm in a shop that has glasses,
Yeah, well, we've only got one glass in our house, and I'm using it at the moment for some water. So
you guys like share it, you like sip, and then you pass it.
Yeah. Like I've got the alarm set for like 3 a.m. I have to get up and like, here's your glass of water. It's your turn for the glass for the next 6 hours. No, I can run and grab a glass, but I'll just go straight from here. What are we drinking? We're drinking number 1.
Yeah, so this is starting off with something pretty overproof. This is the Ray and Nephew White Rum, 63%, homie. Starting off.
F you, Spaniard. Oh, why would you start?
Oh. You got to start the roller coaster high, man. And
yeah.
Slowly get into it. You know what I mean?
So the sculling the beer was like the chup, 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 chup. Yep.
Now it's the big drop.
All right. Well,
cheers.
Salante.
Wow. You can
it's been a while since I've drunk one of those.
Yeah.
All right.
First shot down. First question up. So, of course, being from Australia, you do have a big love for Australia and New Zealand. You even have the tattoos, right? Don't you have tattoos on your arms or something?
I do. I've got Australia tattooed on my left arm because it's closest to my heart, and New Zealand because my mum is always right.
That's really cute.
That's how I kept favor with both parents.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I guess you have to keep them both happy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But how long has it been since you lived in Australia?
Just over 7 years. October 3rd, 2013, I moved to Denmark for just 1 year. Yeah. And, 7.5 years later, it's just haven't left. But mate, yeah, haven't lived there for 7.5 years. Spent the whole time basically the whole time in Denmark, because I've only been back to Australia 3 times in that period.
Okay.
Because I was pretty lucky. I've got a sister that lives in Canada.
Yeah.
So my parents used to come up here once a year and then go to Canada and back home.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So it was kind of like family and friends are the main reason to go back. And if I see my family once a year, it was kind of, like went back for a few friends' weddings and stuff like that.
It's a pretty long flight. So I guess if you don't have like a specific reason, then you don't want to just do it on a whim.
Yeah, I mean, last time was 2019 for Christmas, because my sister had just had a baby that lives there, and so I went back for that. But it's not. A lot of people that live in Europe don't realize how long it takes to actually get there. With the best connections, I think it's about 23 hours.
Jesus Christ.
When I came home
it's just
from
like
Christmas.
Way down, so it's way over here.
It is, it's ridiculous. I mean, the last trip home from Australia back to Denmark was 42 and a half hours.
Jesus Christ. And
that was most of the time just spent in like airports, and it's just like, oh man, different time zones. It's not like just going to London for the weekend for your dad's birthday or something. You've got to go for a month as well.
You have to like sort of acclimate,
Yeah, exactly.
All the time zones. That's nuts. I'm honestly, I'm not the best flyer in the world. Like I just get so bored on like those really long flights. I used to do a lot of flights like from New York to like over to London and back, and it was just, I mean, even that's only like what, 7-8 hours compared to 42.
Yeah, I mean, when you like I haven't done it, but the London to Perth flight was 22 hours straight.
With no, wow, okay.
And I had some mates of mine do it, and they were like, literally by like the 18th hour, people are starting to get like cabin fever.
Yeah.
Like just, walking down the aisle, like, what are you looking at, man? Oh, fuck you.
Shaking in their seats,
Yeah. So, mate, it's I love Australia, and it's not that I don't want to go back there. It's just really hard and expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. But is there something, because just from my, like, I lived a little bit in New York before moving to Denmark, and New York's like, it's such a 24-hour city, and so whenever I came to Denmark, I kind of missed the idea of like, 4 or 5 a.m. like you can still go to like a diner, or you can still go to like an empanada spot and get some food. Is there something about Australia that you were sort of missing here in Denmark?
Depends on which, like, Perth or East Coast or West Coast, but there's a place in Sydney that opened that I don't know if I want to say too much, because I was looking at trying to do something similar here.
Yeah.
That I can't believe it's not here already. It's actually called Mr. Crackles.
Mr. Crackles.
And it's this place it's places that are open like 24 hours, but you get like effectively like a fläskesteg sandwich here, but it's like pork with crackle, and it's just amazing.
And open 24 hours.
And open 24 hours. And it's the sort of place that you can be on the other side of town and you're out with someone, and then, someone just goes, Mr. Crackles, and you're like, taxi.
Like, let's go for it.
Yeah. I mean, Sydney, that's the thing that I do miss. Sydney it's very, very much smaller than New York, but it does accommodate the whole nightlife scene a little bit better. There's Chinese restaurants that are open until 5 a.m.
Absolutely.
And it's like there was an old one, it's still open now, but it's called Golden Century, and that was like Saturday night. All the bar teams finished work, and you'd go in there, and it would just be like, that's the crew from such and such and such and such, and you would never order drinks for your table. It was just like, hey, can you send that table over there? 6 King Sao and 6 shots of tequila, and then suddenly at your table drinks would arrive, and they'd be like, oh, that's from this bar, and okay, send them to this bar and this bar. Where here I find it's just kebab shops, or
or like 7-Eleven or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one problem with a lot of places in Sydney. I say Sydney because I lived there for 12 years before moving here, so it's the freshest in my mind. Actually accommodate hospitality workers in that sense. Where here it's kind of like, yeah, you've got 7-Eleven, or that's about it really.
But that's really funny. What was that Chinese place's name? You said it was Golden something?
Golden Century.
Golden Century. Because I used to live in Chinatown whenever I was living in New York. Because I lived there for like 5-6 years. But I lived in Chinatown for like the majority of it. And I used to live above a place called Golden Noodle, and it was also
really?
open like 24 hours a day. But I just love that, like, so many Chinese places throughout the entire world, they start their name off with Golden something. It's Golden Noodle or Golden Century or something like this.
I mean, if any Australian bartender, hospitality worker in the Copenhagen Cocktail Club watches this or listens to this, and that has been in the industry in Sydney, they'll know Golden. Like, they'll be sitting there now chuckling, going, "Oh yeah, I remember that time at Golden Century." Or it's just the whole venue is just fish tanks all around. So you're picking, like, I want that fish, that crab, and Peking ducks hanging everywhere, and 3 a.m. in the morning after work, you're not caring about the cost or anything. You're like, yeah, beers and Peking duck pancakes, and
let's get it. I want that fish and that fish.
Yeah, exactly. And it's an old, really old hangout spot.
Very cool, man. Very, very cool. Well, if I'm ever in Australia, I'll have to go and check it out.
Yeah, in the middle of Chinatown.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is the official middle of Chinatown now. Like,
very nice.
Like that's if someone says to Chinatown, like Golden Century, yeah, right, and then it goes off from around there.
Yeah, then it's sort of okay. Very nice. All right, my friend.
Are you on shot number 2 already, or are you still finishing the Ray and Nephew?
Oh no, this is the Ray and Nephew is finito. We are
now okay.
Number 2, my friend.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So this is a little bit of rye for your life.
Oh yeah,
a little bit of old overhaul. Something nice.
Nice, yeah.
Also a lower ABV, so we can cool out the
if we're starting with Ray, I think everything's going to be lower, unless you're telling me 3, 4, and 5, in which case.
No, I don't think. I think that was the only overproof. Sorry, I'm just looking at my list. Yeah, that was the only overproof thing on there. So the rest.
As long as you haven't snuck in like a Bundaberg OP rum or something like that, because then the proper Australian slang will come and you'll have to put subtitles on the bottom.
I'm sure Pablo can put subtitles on in post. It's fine. Well, cheers, man.
When he called him a flaming galah, he didn't mean a negative way. Cheers, man.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
So much. So nice. Oh. All right. So I hear from some of your friends that you pretty much order beer anywhere and everywhere you go. Is that true? Are you an avid beer drinker?
I am. And actually, I'm a really boring beer drinker.
Really boring beer drinker. Why?
Like, I'm a Pilsner. Like.
Yeah. But that's fine, right?
I have no. I mean, that's not true. I really love a like a Guinness or something like that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, man. Dark beers for the win for me.
I just get when people start going into it and you're talking about banana peel and rhubarb with hints of elf cum or something like that. And
well, elf cum is really important.
Elf cum is, I don't know where that came from, but that
gives you like that nice head. You know what I mean?
That came from shot number 1, starting to slowly affect. But I just like a nice cold beer, and I'm very much in love with a nice cold can.
Yeah, can of beer, absolutely, man.
That was one of the things that it started as a little bit of a revolution. Not revolution, but came around again in Australia just before I left. Mm-hmm. Drinking out of a can became cool again. Not cool, but like in a pub, it was acceptable to be drinking out of a can. Yeah,
so you didn't always have to have a glass.
Exactly. And then when I did the first venue up here and I was speaking with the Carlsberg rep, I was like, I was thinking of doing, cans. He was, no. Like, cans are for the supermarkets, bottles are for the bars. If you put cans, no one will buy it. And I'm so happy to see the success of like all these breweries that are opening up, and they're doing cans, and bars are now starting to stock cans, whether people choose to pour it into a glass. But I think I'm the my two drinks are a beer or a Negroni.
Beer and Negroni.
Yeah,
those are solid options though. Really, like, pretty classic.
yeah, but I mean, I'll try anything and I'll taste anything, but yeah, definitely walk into a venue and, much to some people's disgust, turning up at a really nice cocktail bar, just have a Pilsner. Actually, that's like
just a little Pilsner.
That's good enough for me.
But that's fine. I mean, nothing wrong with like a little Pilsner. It's light, it's refreshing. There's also, I mean, if you taste one Pilsner made by Carlsberg, for example, and another Pilsner made by like Slow Burn, they're very different. And so like the Pilsner category is pretty wide.
Oh, it is, and I mean, it's not trying to. Well, I was going to say it's not trying to be snobbish against other beers because of the Pilsner. It's just, if I'm going out and I'm going to have a few, like you can have 2 Guinness and after that you start getting a bit bloated, or you're having these really rich like double IPAs or something, and you're like, like that's heavy.
Those are rough, man.
But you can sit. It's it's like a session sort of thing, and you can just sit and have. Well, I'll be responsible and say 5 or 6, but
sure,
10, 12, whatever. But you can just keep on drinking it because it's easy, light, consumable.
Absolutely, man. But no, I mean, going back on like to the double and triple IPAs, I tried it was a triple like double dry hopped IPA. It was 20%. It was
they're crazy, some of those ones.
20%. I was like, my God, this is like a cocktail now. Like this is, and then you serve it in a pint glass, and it was tough to get through. I think by the time it was finished, I was really drunk, and then the beer was warm as well.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean, some of them, they're actually like liqueurs. They're not a beer, they're a liqueur. Like once you start getting over, 14% or something. And that's the thing as well. That's the thing that I find, that not a lot of venues here really serve their beer super cold.
Yeah, it's
like they might not have their fridges down cold, and I know it's not always the climate for it. Like you go in Australia, if your beer isn't super cold, it's coming back over. Like, nah, sorry, mate, there's something wrong. It's way too warm.
There's something wrong. I don't know. There's something wrong about it.
Yeah.
But I guess in like the hotter places, that is pretty fair. But like here, it's cold for, I don't know, 14 months out of the year. So I'm not sure if people are too worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I was at a dinner the other night. Like when I first moved here, when I first came traveling here with my partner, and everyone's just putting stuff on the balcony. It's like, I don't want to be drinking warm beer. They're like, yeah, it's -6 outside. It's better than putting it in the fridge. And I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Much colder. Actually gets a little bit of frost on it.
Yeah, and then I've done it a few times where you forget it and you go out onto the balcony the next morning and they're all popped, or you're like, damn it. I still haven't got used to that.
No, yeah. And defrosting a beer it's never really the same. Like you can't, because I remember whenever I was very first started to drink, and then we'd put the beers in the back of the freezer so your mom wouldn't find them. But you had to remember to go and grab it because, of course it would blow up. But then, you're like, I don't know, maybe 15, 16, and you're like, oh, let's just wait for it to defrost and we'll drink it, whatever. It's not the same.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, that's when I'll do a beef stew and use the beer, so you still get that flavor. Yeah. But frozen beer defrosted is like, for me, that's like the alcoholic going through the, the ullage sort of stuff. Like, oh, it's okay, it's still good, it's still alcohol. I'm like, no, it's lost its carbonation and it's fucked.
Yeah, lost its appeal. Absolutely. Yeah. That's funny, man.
But I mean, there is people that are beer drink. Like, okay, I order beer, I enjoy beer when I go out. and as I said, I just like pilsners, and it freaks me out when people get offended by that if they're another beer drinker as well.
I think it's strange for people to get super offended. I've had this thing before, like with customers, and like they come up with immediately starting an apology, like, I'm so sorry, I just want, you know, a pilsner, or I just want this. I'm like, yeah, if you're gonna pay for it, I really don't care what you order.
Yeah.
I will do whatever you need, you know. Angostura in soda water, or Dunspan, you know, that's fine.
Man, if the money goes into the till, man, I'll make you a decaf alcohol-free espresso martini if you want it. Like, you know, like,
that's fine. You know, you don't want the jitters, you don't want a drink, you just want kind of
a coffee,
yeah,
water with flavor. But no, I mean that's. But I do like the fact that there is, because for me, a proper beer bar, which is where it differs a little bit, because here, I think I wrote it in one of the things to you. Like, for me, somewhere that sells a lot of beer like that is a sports bar where I want to go and watch,
right,
you know, rugby or something like that, and be like, oh, actually, I'll try this one that time, and then I'll have, you know, try a few, while you're doing it rounds with people.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, I got the number 10 this time. And you're like, oh, cool, interesting, yeah, different. Where a lot of, and that's why I think a lot of bars, not just here but around the world, if they're a cocktail bar, they don't care about beer. So they just get one beer or two beers and put them in the fridge.
Yeah.
You know, if that's what you want, that's what you get. Yeah, exactly.
That's nice. Also, like,
and proudly sponsored by the Barking Dog Pilsner. And
hey.
I just had a sip of an empty beer. It's embarrassing.
I should have given you two.
No. You've given me 6 shots, brother. We're good.
Speaking of, do you feel like you're down number 3? Right? We're on number 3, aren't we?
We're on number 3.
Yeah. Super cool. All right. So number 3, since we just did like the Ocho Hugi thing with like Jesse Estes, he talked about Ocho, I mean, for a long time. It was pretty cool. He mainly just talked about like the blue agave, and we had a little bit of their like select cast stuff. But in honor of that, I decided to put the Ocho in here today. So yeah, you know, sleight of hand.
I mean, this is my favorite, actually, drinking tequila.
Yeah.
That can sit in a speed rack at a good price. And, you know, I don't know if you're going to bring it up and embarrass me, but, you know, but when I worked with Patron's not something you can put in a speed rack. It's not something that you can just sit and drink. Well, it's a beautiful product, but
the bottle wouldn't fit into a speed rack.
Well, that's the thing. I guess they designed the whole thing for the back bar, but that's where like Ocho is just like, yeah, super smooth, amazing product. But you can actually have it in the speed rail, making margaritas, making your drinks that is still a great product.
Yeah, actually, I think Ocho just won like a contest for like the world's best margarita. Like Ocho makes the world's best margarita. Maybe that's not correct, but I could have sworn Jesse was talking about this yesterday. But regardless, it does. It makes a fantastic margarita, and it's
in the final cut, I can just see a thing scrolling across the screen saying, "This is not factually true." Fact checked on Twitter.
Yeah, well, this show should come with a disclaimer.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, cheers.
Cheers. Let's do number 3.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's just smooth as F.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to swear? I'm starting to drink now, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
That's smooth as fuck. I love that.
Yeah, it's so full of flavor as well. It's just, it's killer.
Yeah, but it's just, it just warms me up a little bit inside now. All right, let's get into the juicy questions. All right, buddy, you got me.
We do have a juicy question coming up, and you actually just kind of touched on it with the rugby thing, because I don't know much about rugby. I had to Google really like what was going on in the whole rugby thing. But you have a favorite team, don't you? And it's an Australian team, right?
You mean Australia?
No,
Well, like, so rugby, I mean, I follow rugby league and rugby union.
right. Okay.
In rugby union, it's the Waratahs, which is from New South Wales.
Yeah.
Because Western Australia doesn't have any teams. It's only AFL.
Mm-hmm.
And then rugby league, it's the Roosters, which is from Bondi. And they've won like the most premierships out of any team. So I'm just a bandwagon supporter.
Yeah, just hop right on, man.
It was like, I live there. I support them. You're a bandwagon supporter. Cool. I'm a bandwagon supporter.
I'll get a little sign, bandwagon supporter.
Yeah. But no, mate, rugby, I'm not, the thing about rugby, or the thing what I find about rugby or sports in Australia, you've got a smaller group of passionate fans that are really passionate.
Yeah.
But you've got a bigger group that just want to see a good game.
Yeah. They just want
and like, you don't have the fanatical, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it up here. Like, you don't have that, like, let's meet before the game and bash each other's heads in. It's like, let's meet at the pub and have a beer, and all we want to see is a good game of rugby.
Yeah.
And then we'll all complain about the referees at the end and go and drink another beer at the pub.
It's always the referee's fault, man. Honestly.
Always.
I mean, even like in American football, because we have the whole like tailgating culture where you go before.
Oh, that's awesome.
Before the game, and you just get blitzed. You know.
I've been to a Longhorns game, like, and
Ooh,
we got great tickets.
Yeah.
Didn't go inside the stadium. Was having so much fun at the tailgate party, and then literally we were hearing cheers, and we were like, "Yeah, what's going on? Like, is that the pre-game show?" And they're like, "No, man, that's like the third quarter." I'm like, "Oh man," and we're just having so much fun in the tailgate party. It was great.
That actually happens quite a bit. A lot of people will like buy their tickets, especially if they don't go to games very often, and then they come and they show up to this parking lot that's just filled with like, you know, tailgates opened, and they have like a grill on the tailgate, and they're just, you know, barbecuing, and so it's an atmosphere that you can easily get caught up in, for sure.
Oh, it is 100%, and that's where like things I think differ a lot in Australia to America to Denmark. So in Australia, it's kind of like New York. It's illegal to have alcohol on, like, open carry on the streets. So you can't just be, you know, like in Denmark, you can't be walking to the ground drinking beers. People do, but not as openly.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's totally fine here.
And so it's kind of like you have to go to the pub if you want a beer beforehand. And you'll be sitting at the pub drinking. You get to the game, you can drink at the game, and then you go to the pub afterwards.
Yeah.
Where, you know, obviously in America you have the tailgating style. Here you have Denmark.
You just have Denmark open to you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain it to anyone that's not from here. Like, you have, you know, if you're playing at Parken, you go for, if the weather's nice, you go for a drink on Don and Louise's ball, and then you make the St. Helens Place and you have a drink there, and then you have a drink outside in the car park, and then you go in and you drink, and then you just do it in reverse.
And then you drink, and then you walk over there and you drink, and then you just keep walking and you keep drinking. And
yeah, you know, stop past the shop and you buy a 6-pack and you just pass that out. And
I remember like one of the first times I came here, it was like it was just getting to Distortion, and I, you know, being just like you said in New York, where you can't drink on the streets, and they're like, yeah, so it's kind of a party that's just like all throughout the streets of Copenhagen. But in my head, I'm like, okay, so it's like, you know, you have little booths, you know, like maybe one street, you know, something like this. It's kind of like a fair in a way. It's not. People are just walking around drinking beers, and they open it, and it was such a big like, whoa, you can do this here? Yes.
But see, I love Distortion, and I think I prefer Vestervold to Nærbol. Sorry to anyone at Nærbol, but like Vestervold just is a little bit more open space, and you know, like a little bit more relaxed. I think everyone's got a bit of a hangover from the first day. But like the first few Distortions, I was like blown away. I'd be like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then the more I lived here, when I'd be at Distortion and I'd hear like an Australian accent, and it would be like a couple of young backpackers or something, they'd be like, fucking yeah, man, we can do whatever the fuck we want, smashing beers. And then I was like, you know, oh, don't speak with them. Don't pretend you're Danish. Pretend you're Danish. You know, like.
Oh, I do the same thing anytime I hear Americans on the street, or well, now I don't hear them very often anymore because of course with the
Yeah, of course.
but before, you know, you would hear like the like the, oh my god, so like we're in Copenhagen now, and it's just like you're like, oh, okay, gonna go this way.
Well, so the biggest thing that I get up, well, that I hear up here when I hear an Australian accent, I mean, most of them, yeah, you get a little, some of them that are like, oh, we can drink on the street.
Yeah.
But then you hear a lot of them like, oh man, we can smoke weed on the street. And you know, I'm like, oh. And then someone will say to me like, you're Australian, man, why don't you tell them you can, but don't be like that obvious about it, sort of thing. We're like, oh, I don't speak Australian, sorry. Jeg kunne tale dansk. You know, like, I'm not getting involved with them, because if I walk over there, then people are going to think I'm associated with them. And
Absolutely.
yeah, but I mean, but at the moment, every time I walk around the city, because it's so locked down, I hear an Australian accent, and I'll like pretend to answer my phone and speak Australian as possible. You know, like, oh, g'day, mate, how are ya? And then they turn around and be like, oh, sorry, wait, I'll call you back. Australian? Hey, how you doing? Like, Australian. I need some, because the other thing that sucks about being up here is when it's tourist season. Yeah. Literally every Australian comes up here wanting to try and see Crown Princess Mary. And they're like, oh my God, she's Australian. Oh my God. And you're like, you know, I've had so many people ask me, like, did you move here because of Crown Princess Mary? I'm like,
yes, I did.
Yes, 100. Well, at first I would try and give them the long version. No. Like, my partner lived in Australia for 8 years. We moved up here for 1 year. And then I just started going, oh no, I'm like stalking Crown Princess Mary. Like, like something's going to happen. And one day I'll just swoop in like the Australian knight in shining armor. You know.
Riding in on like a dingo. You
know, a kangaroo, mate. Kangaroo. That's what we used to ride to school.
That's fair. I just immediately think of the dingo ate your baby from Seinfeld. So that's like my go-to Australian thing. But I don't know if that's.
Well, actually, growing up, one of my best, like, well, not best mates, he's loopy now, but a good mate of mine, he's like lived in the middle of the city. Like, he'd live in Vestaville. Yeah. And his family actually had like pet kangaroos in their backyard, like in a normal house, just had a couple of pet kangaroos.
As you do.
And his dad was in hospitality as well, and had like a lot of backpackers and stuff that worked for him. Yeah. And whenever they'd come over to the house, and they'd be like, oh my God, there's kangaroos in your backyard. And he's like, yeah, I mean, the kids used to take them to school, and now they've left school, so we just keep them around in case we need to go to the shops or stuff like that. And like, this is years ago, but there's still probably a generation of like German tourists and stuff like that. Yeah. That someone says it as a joke, and they go, no, it's true. No. I used to work for a guy who's, you know, like, he had kangaroos in his backyard. They had them because they worked for, his wife worked for like a wildlife rescue thing. Ah, okay. But he would just, you know, have fun with these people who would then perpetuate the stories around the world. Like, no, they do ride kangaroos to school. Yeah,
they absolutely do. And I like the grocery store one, because I bet that pouch is
super handy. Yeah, it's I mean, super handy.
Yeah. Also,
keys, wallet, groceries.
No plastic waste either. Look at you guys.
Yeah, exactly. We were doing this years ago, before this whole 4 or 5 krona fruit.
Was cool.
Yeah. Actually, that's a no, it's a really stupid Australian joke, but it doesn't mean anything. Okay. No, it's just there's you know, there's 3 an American, an Englishman, and an Australian sitting in a pub. All right. And you know, the Englishman says, "Oh, I just read in the paper that you know, they were digging out for a new building, and they found copper wiring really deep, and it proves that we had communication through Morse code back, you know, 300 years ago." The American goes, "Actually, it was in the paper the other day. They found wires running. They were building a building, found wires, and it proves that that was the first telephone cables. And the Australian guy goes, mate, they dug a massive hole in the middle of Australia, found nothing, proves we've had Wi-Fi all the time. It's a really, really bad joke, but
found nothing. I like that. All right, fair enough.
Right.
That's goofy.
It's stupid. Anyway, we can cut that out. We can cut that out.
No, it's definitely staying in now. But actually, no, I never got to question 3. We were talking about rugby.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was the question. All right.
No, the real question is here. The hard-hitting, super truth-seeking question is, sir, because rugby's 15 players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, who's on your team from the Danish bar industry? If you had to make a rugby team from the Danish bar industry, who's on your team? Yeah. Not the most athletic bunch out there. I'll give you that, but
Well, I don't know every single person in the Danish bar industry.
No,
so
you haven't memorized the list?
Hey?
Isn't there did you not get the memo? There's like a whole list of all the names. There's like 40 Moltons,
Yeah. Well, this is where it can get really offensive to people. I mean, technically, I'd be picking, not technically, but I'd pick Lars from Gensum.
Yeah.
And Niels as my number 1 and 3.
Boom.
Which are your front rowers, your props.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay. My hooker, who, basically looks after the props.
Yeah.
I would put someone. I would put someone like probably Yarrick there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great at this.
Just because that's the hooker is actually the one that feeds controls the ball and everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, not like that. But he's looking after your props. Oh, that's really good. Sorry, mate. Don't hate me. Then your 4s and your 5s? They're your sort of breakaways.
It's like
they need to be strong. I would put. Mate, this question is kind of really stumping me. I'm literally running through my head of people. Blondie would play like a 4.
Yeah.
Sammy from Yellow would actually probably fit in at number 5.
There you go.
At 6, would play 6. I think Turkle could play like a 6.
Yeah. Do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's got the good size for it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go with balancing out aggression and size.
He's
7. I would go.
He must have a lot of aggression built up, So as soon as you put him on the field and you're like, it's okay, then he just go crazy.
7. I would go probably Nicholas Frank. He used to work in. I don't know if you know him, but he's over in Jutland now.
No, I'm not sure, but still, yeah.
Frankie, we worked together at Madame Choose. He used to run Madame Choose years ago.
Okay.
But he's got the right look for it. Bald head, big beard.
Boom.
Number 8, I would go Blondie. You've just got to, you've got to have the right body size. Obviously, very fit and athletic. Number 9, I would go Andy.
Yeah, there you go. Someone like wiry.
Yeah. Number 10, I would go Ninon from Som.
Boom.
Number 10 is not about size; it's about vision and controlling the whole team.
There you go.
11, that's a wing. Who runs fast?
Who is fast?
I don't know. Everyone I know is getting older and slower. Number 11 and number 14 are the 2 wings. So let's just say the last 2 winners of the Ferner Brunker Barback games would be on the wings.
There you go. Yeah, fastest ones we got.
Yeah, and the fullback, I would. I'm controversial in this, but I would go Carsten from Kribsegarden.
Really?
Big Norwegian guy. A bigger fullback is. is to me a benefit.
That's your secret. That's your little secret to
That's
winning.
well, I played fullback.
Okay, there you go.
So you need a bigger person, because every now and again those front rowers break through, and
you got to stop them.
yeah. And then I'd be sitting in the stands with me and Nando and everyone else, just drinking beers, watching these idiots that don't know how to play rugby try and play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if any of the people that you mentioned really know how to play rugby, but
I don't think so.
They can learn. It's going to be great. We'll get a game together.
So the best thing is, so rugby is one thing. Rugby sevens is the best thing.
Rugby sevens.
So it's 7 aside.
Okay.
But it's like just a pie. The whole thing is a pie.
Yeah.
So you have like the thing called the props club,
mm-hmm.
or you have teams that have like the props club.
Yeah.
And so you have to weigh over 100 kilograms to play on the team.
Okay.
And they're the guys that, like, when you get past them, they just go like, "See ya." There's like, I'm not chasing you. Like,
I'm fine.
But it's like you drink beers on the field, and
that's rad.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm now in the age bracket where I'm allowed to play. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, I'm now allowed to play old boys. So you have to be over 35 to play.
There you go.
And the old boys is, like, you get run shots out to you and beers, and it's more like
that's my type of sport. I like the sport where you don't get like a water girl. You get like a beer, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. You can't really do it here. Like, you can't really play handball with a beer or something, like, or the two biggest Danish sports other than football, is like what, badminton and handball.
And you can't drink and do that at the same time.
Exactly.
Football's intense. I actually just recently watched like my first my first
when Denmark won.
Yeah, super intense though. I did not realize, because I've had it explained to me like, well, you slap a ball against the wall, and then someone else slaps it, and then I was like, okay, sounds like a game, I guess. And then I watched it. It was really intense. It's like it's full on.
When I first learned it, well, I mean, we played it in school, but maybe under a different name and different rules.
Yeah.
But at the time as well, I thought this is one of the laziest sports, because like the same, like they just run off, and the next, like, the attacking team runs on, and then the defensive team runs on. Like, it's a similar size to a basketball court, and they've got to run up and back, up and back. But whenever you mention like handball to someone in Denmark, they get, like, if you try and say something like that, they get so offended by it.
Yeah, man.
As if you've like, yeah, I mean, it's as if you've taken their national identity away from them. Like, handball sucks. Fuck you, take that back.
Oh, I try my best not to anger the Danes, since I'm still a slightly new foreigner to this country. But the next time because my partner has some pretty older Danish grandparents, and they're big handball fans. So maybe next time I see them, I'll.
And the thing, like, when I first moved here, I had quite a few visits from friends, all around the world. So we always did the same like sightseeing tours.
Yeah.
And so I got to learn a lot of the history. And as soon as you can throw some of that back at them, that stuff, they seem to calm down a little bit. And if in doubt, just be like, mate, Holger Danske, he's going to come back one day. And they're like, yeah, fuck, here he is. Like,
he's got it.
Because when I was opening the first venue here, I did so much research into, especially the neighborhood. Like, it was the first bar that I ever opened and owned by myself. Didn't do it with architects or anything. Did the whole thing by myself.
Nice.
So I wanted to try and find out the history and everything.
Yeah.
And the history of the area where the bar was basically called the city's toilet. Oh. I was like, I can't really, like, I was thinking going through names, like, okay, the Dead Rabbit in New York is named after the Dead Rabbit gang.
Yeah.
And there's that kind of cool. I was like, man, Copenhagen's so old. They have to have had some old gangs and stuff. And was speaking with historians and everything. And then they were like, yeah, that was called Born's Rana, which basically means the city's toilet. And it's where they used to come and dump the shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's a little bit of Danish history for you.
Thank you. See, an educational video.
Exactly. That's yeah.
That's all we're trying to do. Help you learn some Danish history.
Yep. Well, I've just named 15 people in a rugby team that have no idea about rugby. So it's all educational.
We're gonna talk to him. We're gonna get this rugby game.
We'll get this going.
That's like as soon as we can be more than 5 people, we will get this.
Yeah. All right. Well, notice I didn't name myself in that team because, as I said, I'm sitting in the,
You're captain, right? You're like the captain of the ship. You're the one who's.
I'll just sit there on the sidelines with my hat, just like, come on, guys.
Get you a cool captain's hat, you know?
Yeah.
It'll be good.
We can make this work.
Absolutely, man.
Are we doing number 4?
Yeah, man.
We're doing number 4. Number 4.
Good?
Man, I'm feeling fantastic. I'm feeling oh baby. I feel like this is where I'm in that equilibrium right now of like, God, I wish I had some customers to serve. Just to give them some,
Yeah.
Bit of suave, like, hey, you're feeling in the mood. It's almost 10 o'clock. Like, ooh, let's get this going. Let's get this party started. But I've got you, me, and 3 monks sitting behind me, and that's the party.
Yeah, I've been looking at the monks quite a bit actually. I'm really curious on what they're like looking at or what they're thinking, because they're looking off.
That's the whole point of the painting.
Whole point of the painting, man.
What they're in meditation. What are they thinking? What are they?
All right, we'll have to try some meditation after this.
Let's try some liquid meditation.
There you go. So this one, we're going to rum agricole now. A little rum JM for you.
Yeah.
Something nice. Switch it up a little bit. Can you? Yeah. Cheers.
Let's go. Right.
Nice. Oh, that almost tastes kind of whiskey-ish in a way.
Yeah, it does. I did have a sip of water, but I don't know if it's maybe a little bit of the rye still in my mouth, and then just having that next one that sort of changed the. Anyway, I'm not on the molecular level when it comes to this sort of stuff.
No. Next time. All right, man. Well, your dog is pretty famous. I'm not gonna lie. I think your dog might be the most famous thing that's happened to the bar industry in a long time.
The bar industry.
Yeah. It's a bar dog.
I thought you were going to say to the canine industry.
Oh, the canine. Well, yeah, the canine industry as well. It's like Lassie and then Herbert, right?
It basically, yeah.
Yeah. But how did that get started? Did you just wake up one day and was like, I'm gonna put my dog on Instagram, or?
No, it actually started as a joke, whether people want to believe that or not. It was when we were trying to get like the Instagram account for Lojo's, like one of the venues that I had started. And I was complaining that, like, doesn't matter. You put a beautiful picture up, you put an ugly picture up, I get one picture, like maybe 1 like or, 10 likes or something like that. Yeah, and, at the time we had Hubert, and he was a puppy, and he grew up in the front of the bar. So he's super chill with everyone touching him, like random people grabbing his face and everything. And we had this stupid video of him falling into a pool. He was trying to get a ball out of the pool, and he's like, and falls in. And I said, I bet you if you start an Instagram account for the dog and put that video up, it'll get like 100 likes. Where if I put a picture up saying free drinks, it'll get like 10 likes.
Yeah. Well, it's the priorities, right?
Yeah. And then so we literally did it, put it up, woke up the next morning, and he had 1,600 followers, and
shit,
like it was just mental. And then it just sort of grew from there, in a like, oh wow, this is sort of going and going, and I've got a Christiania bike. Yeah. Or like a big bucket bike, and then it's very wanky, but we got his Instagram name put on the outside.
Oh, that's cute.
Because we realized so many people, especially tourists and everything in summer, were taking pictures of us, like you know, him in the bike, me riding. And so we put the name on there, and then suddenly everyone started following him because they knew who he was.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
instead of him being a random dog, and then it just kind of exploded, and then it just went crazy.
That's nuts, man.
And you know, I've been at a few venues where I put a picture up of, you know, hey, we're sitting here or doing this. Like when the first lockdown ended, Puss Puss, I think, was one of the first venues to straight away open up.
Yeah.
And they're just purely by, I think, 80% random chance, 20% people had organized, just turned into this massive industry day. It was pissing down rain.
Yeah.
I just remember Renee standing there. I was riding past with the dog, and it was like, "Hey man, oh yeah, have a quick beer." And then just people came from everywhere, like hospitality people.
Yeah.
And I put a picture up of him, and then after that, people were like texting, like, "Is he still at Puss Puss? I'm coming now. Fulbert's still there." And it's like, whoa, you know, like what the fuck? And it's just
coming for him, you know, just going to get Hubert.
Yeah, and now I just use them as a blatant, like, give me free drinks or the dog's giving you a bad review.
You only get one paw print this time.
Yeah, no, it's quite funny. Like I think so whenever I have the dog, all I have to say is, "Where's Andy?" And he runs all the way to Stom because Andy bought a big bag of like dog treats for him, and I've never seen let down in a dog's face more than the day when that bag ran out. And he was like, "Sorry, buddy, I've run, like, we've got no more." And he was like,
no.
You know, like, "Oh, well, I guess I have to poo on the carpet now or something, man."
Yeah, you know, this is your fault. I have to chew your chairs up now.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
But we had actually Hilbert, because Hilbert's very chill as well.
Yeah.
And I think I went down there one night, and Andy was like, "Yeah, bring him in the bar. He's fine." Yeah. Like he would just sit inside. And then these other customers just went, "Oh, you allowed dogs in here?" Disappeared and came back with a massive Burmese mountain dog.
Shit.
Who just wanted to play, not attack, but just play. And then other customers like, "What the fuck is going on?"
That's like a horse. So that's like a horse just playing with you?
Yeah. And I was like, and he's like, "I think I have to kick, you know, this can't happen." And I was like, "Completely understand, mate. This is completely inappropriate. I didn't tell them to go get their dog."
This can't happen.
Yeah. But mate, he's chill. He's I think he's got more friends in the industry than I do.
I mean, it's definitely my new favorite account. Like I've been watching it for days. Herbert the Golden Retriever. If the folks watching at home, if you guys want to go and follow that on Instagram, and maybe on TikTok as well.
Yeah, but yeah, he's on TikTok. I don't do anything with the TikTok, but he's got like 400,000 on TikTok or something. But
400,000.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But just throwing it out there to anyone that actually watches this, for the 3 people other than my mum and dad that watch this, guys, we're all going through a fucked up period. If you ever want to go for a walk with the dog, you know, just take an hour and go for a walk. Just shoot me a message on Messenger, and if I got time and got the dog, just go for a walk around Feller Parking or something.
That sounds. Can I be one of those people?
You could, man. You can be one of them. Of course.
That sounds fucking great, man. I would.
Yeah, man. I mean, he loves it. He loves meeting new people. He loves getting around, and he's super chill to walk with. He's not a stress. But like, if anyone needs it, I mean, I'm doing nothing at the moment. It's not like I can say, "Hey, sorry, man, I don't have the time."
Yeah.
But you know, like, I don't mind. Like, ride over to Feller Park and go for a walk around. Unfortunately, I don't give him out one-on-one. Like, I've got to kind of walk.
Well, that's fair
with you. But if you want an excuse to get out, like, you know, like, I've done it with quite a few people, and it's really nice. Just go for a walk, and I don't know, man. I got 2 ears, 1 dog. You talk, I'll listen. He'll walk.
That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So yeah, if anyone wants to, like, the call lines are open now.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, I mean, it's, you know, like, I kind of use them as a de-stress tool myself, or anti-depression. You know, like, it's just nice just to get out and go for a lap around the lakes, or meet up with someone and go for a coffee. Because, you know, especially at the moment with this weather, you feel demotivated if it's a bit cold or a bit wet. Like, I should go out, but I don't want to.
Yeah, just because like there's so many layers that you have to put on, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like when I've got him, I thought I have to go out.
Yeah, that's the thing. You do.
So it's like, hey man, if anyone wants to come for a walk, come for a walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah. Well,
there was the little social conscious plug.
That, there you go. You're gonna get so many texts now. It's gonna be ridiculous how many messages you get now.
Oh man, I feel sorry for Hubert. So I'll be like, yeah, all right, I can fit you in between 11 and 12, and then Hubert, you're right. We've got 12:15 until 1:30. He'll be like walking 50 kilometers a day.
He's gonna buns of steel that one.
Oh yeah, he's getting a little bit chubby. I'm not gonna lie. He's getting a little bit lazy, so we need to push him.
It's winter. It's lockdown time. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Pounds during lockdown. All right, man. So number 5, we're in the Scotch territory now. A little Ben Romack.
Ooh.
This was I think this was actually, I don't know if it was the first, but it was one of the main bottles that Jarek had me try whenever I first started at Chopin. Because he was like, this is a great sort of representation of, like a great introduction to the Scotch category. So try this, memorize.
I'll shoot it. I just want to have a little sip before I actually shot it.
No. Take your time, man. It's lovely. This is the 10-year.
Smooth, man. That's good.
It's super smooth. This is a really nice one.
All right, let's do this.
All right, man. Cheers.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh. That's lovely. That's almost like candy. You could just drink that with a straw.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That was a really good 3, 4, 5.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, that was a really good 3, 4, 5.
I try to make it as as like best of a ride as I can.
Yeah, but that's a really good one.
So many bottles to pick from. So, at first I was kind of like, but trying to get the hang of it.
I mean, you could have invited me over there. I could have had a taste of them all beforehand, and then I said, like, why don't we go these 6?
Next time. Or actually, if we ever go on a walk with the dog, then we can walk to Chopin and we can try it all out.
Well, I've been promising Blondie for like a while that we'll catch up with him and his kids to go for a walk. So if he sees me there with you, he could get like
that would be like a cuteness overload. Blondie's 2 kids plus your dog. Like that's just I think the world might collapse. Because those are some super cute kids that boss man has.
Yeah, I mean he's great like the dog's great with kids, but like kids are just like they think he's the biggest dog in the world.
Yeah, well to them he's probably like the biggest thing they've ever seen.
Yeah, but then when you put him next to some other dogs, and I'm like, oh my god, he looks like a puppy. Oh, 1 second, let's go. Oh.
No worries. It's tough having like headphones in for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, I'm not used to. I mean, I got massive ears. Like I got a pretty big melon, and I got massive ears. But my ears don't look that bad now. But when I was a kid, it looked like a Volkswagen door with the car, like a Volkswagen with the doors open.
That's nice.
Luckily, my head grew like massively into my head.
That's kind of funny because like my head and facial features have always kind of looked like this, but it was this size though, even whenever I was like 12. So I was like the kid with the big bobblehead on like a really long neck, that just sort of, walked around the playground.
Mate, not me. I was tiny up until I was like 17.
Right.
And then, anabolic steroids can highly recommend. No, but I just grew, but my ears were always like huge.
Loud and proud.
Yeah. And then I just kind of, my head grew around the ears.
It all works out.
Why are we talking about my ears?
Well, killer, dude. I mean, that was all the questions that we have for today. That was rad. I think you crushed that.
You didn't ask me about my ridiculously large penis. No.
No, I didn't. I did leave this out. It was honestly in my intro to say something about the ridiculously large penis, but I decided to cut it because
Why?
I don't know, man.
I understand why, because you'd be like, it would come up like, this is unfact checked claim.
Yeah, I don't know how to fact check that without getting a little too un-corona friendly. You know what I mean?
Well, you can ask beep who said it, and beep will tell.
Well, there you go. Maybe the folks at home can just take it as an urban legend, an urban myth. George potentially has the biggest penis in the world.
That is not true. There's a guy in Mexico that can't get out of bed because of his like 1.5
That's fair.
foot schlong. So yeah,
George can at least walk, which is
I can walk.
all we need from that. All right, are you ready for a game? Not to cut away from your dick, but
yes, it does.
Are you ready for a game?
All
right. So we switched up the game quite a bit this time. So it's not questions, it's not bad reviews, it's not anything like this. We're gonna build a tower. If you can back up your computer just a little bit so people can see what's going on. So we have a little bag here with different marshmallow things. Couldn't find real marshmallows, strangely enough, because I guess only the States do people eat marshmallows year round, like ridiculous animals. So I found these that are sort of so we have some that are marshmallow, or sorry, I mean they are marshmallow, but they're mushroom shaped. We have little strawberry ones, and then we have these big red ones for some reason. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, but there you go. All right, so
wow, is that what they are?
Yeah, right.
I thought, wow, okay. I thought it was circumcised penis, butt plug, and enlarged testicles. But okay, let's go with whatever you said.
I mean, no. I like the enlarged testicles. That sounds nice and healthy.
Do I have to use all the pasta?
No. So the goal here is to build the tallest tower that you can. We have 5 minutes to build this tower, and then at the end of the 5 minutes, whoever's tower is still standing, it has to stand for 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then whoever wins, congratulations. Whoever loses has to take a shot.
Win or lose, I'm probably going to take that shot with you.
You definitely should. It's not a punishment shot. It's actually a really nice shot. Cool. So.
All right. When the time starts.
Well, yeah, the time hasn't started yet. Don't worry. Cool. Do you have I've never done this before, so I'm really curious to see how this is going to work.
I'm going. I started.
Oh, did you start? All right.
I started.
Let's get it going, man. All right. Shit. Where do I start? Let's do it like this.
So what about yourself, man? Like you said, how long have you lived in Copenhagen for?
So I've been here since August of 2019, I think, is like whenever I officially, I am now in Denmark.
Okay.
But yeah.
And what brought you here?
Well, originally, I had visited here quite fuck, man, they're already breaking on me. I had visited here a few times, just in travels, and then whenever I found out that I can go to school here for relatively, actually not even relatively, a lot cheaper than what I would be going to school for in the States, I decided, fuck it, let's move to another country, let's see how it goes, and let's get some education while we're at it.
So I came as a sexual refugee. Hey, do I have to use every marshmallow as well?
No, as long as your tower is the tallest one in the world.
Like, I can't guarantee it'll be the tallest one in the world, but on this conversation, hopefully.
Look at that. Getting there, man. Slowly but surely getting this tower going.
And man, I just want to say thank you, not only to you, but obviously to Miriam and Fanny and all your efforts earlier in the lockdown to try and get us reopened.
Yeah, I mean we're doing our best with that. I'm not I mean, it seems to really be like politicians are going to do what politicians are going to do, right? They don't fully care whatever we say, but at the very least, they were willing to come, or we were able to get them to come and talk to us for a little bit, at least hear our concerns.
Yeah, but it was more than what I did. Well, I mean, I turned up, but it was.
Yeah, you turned up. You had points to say. I think that's also very valid, right? You know, we need also people to help us because it's not like we know everything in the world.
I'm trying to talk, but also trying to concentrate.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! It's.
Oh no!
Oh my god! If you can see, if that can stay there right now. Okay, if I can move the computer around. I didn't create a tower, but I have created a Star Wars. You know, one of those big.
Oh my god! Yeah, with the AT-AT.
Yeah, AT-AT. There we go.
Oh man, I knew exactly what you're talking about.
All right, now I need to. All right, how do I strengthen this?
I don't know. You're doing better than I am. I'm just making triangles here.
I'm trying to weight stuff with spaghetti. Jesus, that's.
Yeah. So
I think I made a mistake.
my idea has been to like break it and then put two in like on each thing. You know what I mean? So then it sort of hopefully supports itself.
What's the heavy end here? I think I might have. Oh, you beauty! I think I might have sorted this one.
All right.
Okay, so where have you worked? Where have you actually worked since you've been here? If you've been here for a few years, only with the boys, or
Yeah. Only with Blondie so far. I've been at Paloma, technically managing the place for a while now, and at the Barking Dog here and there. I mean, we're part of the same company, so like we kind of do everything together in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah.
So are they yellers and screamers as bosses and just friendly to the?
No, actually, they are almost the opposite of that. Where it's really funny. Like for the longest time, I had no idea what Blondie was thinking. But then you just start to like understand his like looks. Like he won't tell you anything, but you can't see my face. He won't tell you anything, but he'll just like look at you, just like, and then he'll walk away. And then, but after a while, you start to realize that there's like subtle differences in all those looks, and then you start to see what they all mean. And you know, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not that great, but you know, that's what it is.
In the almost 7 and a bit years that I've known him, I still haven't got past the "you're a fucking idiot" look. But I don't know. That could be love and affection look. I just haven't worked it out yet.
It's definitely a little bit of love and affection for sure. Oh man. Oh, okay. We are there. This is the 5-minute mark. So we have to not touch it. And oh no, mine's falling. Oh no. Okay. All right. Mine kind of drooped down.
Okay, so how do we? You've created a 16th century catapult to shoot your marshmallows.
He's about to take off.
Is it allowed that I stuck a bit of spaghetti on top just to get extra height, like an aerial tower? Like if I put some.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh yeah, just your hair. That's nice.
So I've got. Okay, to there.
Mine kind of fell down.
So I have 1 and a like 3/4 bit of spaghetti height.
Oh mate, you have beat me. Mine is not even as tall as a spaghetti because it really got droopy. Well, what are you gonna do, George? Congratulations on the game. Good job. That's a fantastic tower. You clearly have a architects in your future.
Well, you know what? I never like to see a man drink alone. So how about I have the last one with you?
Absolutely. This one's a killer, dude. This is the Mezcal Vargo Espadín Mezcal.
Okay, but you realize when you say that in Australian, that means this is going to send you night.
No, that's
like dude, this is a killer. He's like,
it's a killer. It's gonna be good.
Ooh.
right?
Yeah, I'm happy. Mate, thank you so much for the conversation, the questions.
Absolutely.
If anyone needs anything, give me a call. Fix it up for you. Walk the dog.
Oh, sorry, jumped the gun on that one. But yes, George, thank you so much for your time tonight. I really, really appreciate it. But before we leave, do you have anything to say to the folks at home? Should they call you for a walk with the dog?
I just hit the cable. No, I mean, guys, we're all in this together. Like, that's the one thing that I love about this industry globally, and especially in Denmark. Like, the effort that you guys put in on stuff like this, just to introduce new people and go through stuff. We're all in a tough time. We're all in a hard time, but it's a phone call. It's a message. It's, other than that, if anyone needs anything, reach out. Want to go for a walk? Let's go for a walk. If you want to learn how to build a marshmallow tower, apparently I'm out of the two of us, I'm the best.
Apparently you're pretty fucking good at it.
This is days, weeks, years of marshmallow tower research that
I can tell. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. That was my little trick. I don't know if you did the same, but I snapped the pasta in half and doubled it to give it extra strength.
I did actually, but it didn't. I think I went too far up too fast. You know what I mean? I tried to.
Well, that was why I had the AT&T walker, because I put the big testicle on top and it just started bending the butt.
That's what it is. Whenever you put the testicle on top, it naturally falls over.
But mate, other than that, thank you so much. If anyone actually listened to this the whole way through, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Logan, thank you so much for coming over, dropping the booze off, marshmallows, spaghetti. I've now got a late night. I got aftensmell now. Mate, look forward to catching up with you soon.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. And tune in next time for Let's Drink About It. Cheers.